Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely incredible day. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. If you are new here or haven't been seeing what the news has been doing, we have undergone an extensive amount of time of what I would deem to be purely hyper-optimistic news within the cryptocurrency space, and none of that seems to be slowing down at all. Jeff Kendrick, head of digital asset research at Standard Chartered, is still optimistic about Bitcoin, with his firm setting a year-end price target of $150,000 US. Standard Chartered was in the news, I think I want to say more like around January or so, when the price predictions began to shift a little bit, because before, once again, we were told that Bitcoin might hit $50,000 by the end of the year, but as you know, we are already well past that. So the generalized number for this year, for some reason, is constantly 150,000. And I mean on both bases. There are people who believe we are just going to hit 150,000, and a lot of people who think that we are going to hit that number and also surpass it. According to Business Insider, they said Bitcoin's price could still more than double this year. Speaking on BNN Bloomberg, Kendrick pointed out that Bitcoin has recently faced a downturn, sliding 11% from its peak of about $73,000 in March. He said, and I quote, "This pullback stems primarily from slowing inflows into Bitcoin ETFs and current world events, which have temporarily overshadowed the market." But the reason why we have the slowdown in inflows to the ETFs is because of world events. So the optimism, as I stated before, is still quite high. I haven't seen any wavering except for like when prices go down and we have that like really weird woe is us. But the wealthiest individuals on the planet have kind of lined themselves up with the idea of continue buying as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. We would probably be over... No, never mind. I won't even give you a number. I was going to say over 85, something like that now, if these events hadn't taken place, but, sure. Despite these challenges, Kendrick remains confident about the market's capacity to recover by reiterating Standard Chartered's statement from last month with a price prediction of $150,000 by year end. There's no, as far as I can tell, I was looking around, there's no real negative news. There's even some news that we've gotten before that was touted as negative news, and now it's almost seen as like a really great thing, which I found a little special, if I can be completely honest. So there were multiple news stories about Bitcoin and its price and where people think that it's going, and people are still optimistic that by summertime we will be near six figures. It seems to be the target for this year, more so than, I mean 150 is the target, but people really just want a six-figure Bitcoin, and I think that's going to really get things going. For some reason, also in the news, which I found to be different, is Polygon. Polygon, for some reason, was widely spoken about today. I don't necessarily think that it's because of the Ernst & Young's news that we had. It was like a day or two ago. This company who has been working on Ethereum for a number of years and is part of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, announced that they were going to be making another smart contract something, but they were going to be doing it on Polygon. But then they said eventually they'd be moving over to Ethereum, but I give them a couple of years because Ethereum isn't doing that stuff. So For some reason, there were a couple of websites, and I, once again, don't know why. There was no explicit reason. Even some of them in the very beginning were talking about it was like one of the most disappointing coins, which I think is also a bit unfair. If everything went down, then everything was a disappointing coin kind of thing. You can't really, I don't know. You understand exactly what I'm trying to say. It's kind of like years ago. Always, if XRP went down by like 23%, coins that went down by 22%, like people would be making fun of them on Twitter. And it's like, you all are in the same boat, right? You're all in the exact same position. I think this particular news became quite popular simply because of the numbers that this analyst threw out there. There are a number of breakout targets that this person has set. These numbers seem a bit intense. However, additionally, the crypto analyst is expecting the price to continue to rise, the same with many other coins, with another target being $5.40. Reaching this level would mean an over 650% rise for the coin. And apparently this person is talking about a $55 Polygon Matic coin, and would indicate a 7,800% increase in price. For those of you who do not know, I also have Polygon. Polygon is part of the coins that came out around 2020, 2021. I bought a lot of them along with ApeCoin and all the other ones out there. The general sentiment right now, unless you've been missing it or haven't been paying attention, is that everyone's expecting the market to go up. Everyone's expecting altcoins to begin to outperform Bitcoin for a devil's avocado kind of thing. There are always altcoins that actually perform this well. It's just a matter of if it's going to be Polygon. One of the weird reasons, or one of the weird things about the cryptocurrency space, is that logic doesn't really exist here. Because while Ethereum is the most used blockchain, Polygon is, I believe, its most used layer. Like, there are an enormous amount of things flowing through Polygon. So logically, the price also shouldn't even be as low as it currently is. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but at least the optimism's there. Haven't seen any. Actually, nope, it's coming up as well. There's also some other one as well. Continuing on the optimism train, I was shocked. I'm still a little shocked about this one as well. If you've been paying attention to the last, I want to say 2 months, I'm not sure what's doing it. I'm not at all sure where this news keeps coming from. But Litecoin is like rising in popularity once again. We had news earlier this year. Let me see if I can remember. Earlier this year that so when we first got a wind of the fact that there might be Ethereum ETFs, apparently we were told that people behind the scenes were allegedly discussing a Litecoin ETF, as it appears that Litecoin is very similar to Bitcoin and that there's no real risk of it being deemed a security. It's never been on any list. No one's ever spoken about it negatively from the SEC, and therefore that rumor popped up. We had news that there was a payment processor somewhere, and that Litecoin was their most used coin, even over Bitcoin and Ethereum. Who knows exactly why, but it was the most used coin on the platform. What were the other things? It was like 3 more things that kept on popping up. I think there was news of an upgrade or an update. People, for some reason, are now optimistic about Litecoin's previous halving that they had like 7 months ago. Now people are talking about it a little bit more. I'm still missing 2 more news stories. But now Litecoin's back in the news again. It's actually nice to see. Litecoin's one of the legacy coins. Like, it's done really well as far as like maintaining and surviving. It's just the creator of the coin stepped away because he didn't want the coin to be deemed a security because of previous events in the past. But it's popping up all the time, and I'm quite surprised because the last time before that we heard about it was when Litecoin got private transactions. Litecoin One of the pioneering cryptocurrencies has achieved a remarkable milestone. Apparently, 12.5 years in a row, the network has never had any downtime. 12.5 years. This achievement underscores the network's reliability and resilience. They said, or someone said, and I quote, Litecoin works. For 12 and a half years, 100% uptime. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. The official Litecoin Twitter handle, of course, they would be writing something like that. Yeah, I was quite shocked. Normally, Litecoin's not in the news, and I find it quite fascinating how many people are kind of like, I don't want to say jumping on the Litecoin train, but no news for like 2 years, and now it's been 5, 6, 7 times this year already. I always wanted more for Litecoin. It's nothing. How do I say it? The coin's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. It has a strong community still. Tons of people still love it. Once again, getting a lot of rumors, at least surrounding Litecoin, but it's basically, if there were to be another coin that could have been popular, it could have been Litecoin. It's basically the same thing as Bitcoin. The only difference is it has 4 times the amount of supply. And then you can't even roll your eyes at that because a lot of you are holding coins that have like 75 billion coins. So it also has halvings. It's a source code fork. Yeah, Litecoin back in the news, 12 and a half years. And I will not name the other database that has gone under 13 times in 1 year. But, just for context, just throwing that out there. Also, in, I guess, optimistic news, this was also kind of everywhere. And forgive me if I don't 1000% understand or jump for joy here. Shiba Inu's team has made an announcement about use cases and utility, as apparently they've raised $12 million through Treat. Okay. Treat utility and governance token to develop its new privacy-focused Layer 3 blockchain and other initiatives. A recent post on the Shib Daily? Okay. Revealed a major deal reached by Satoshi Kusama during the Token 2049 report. It is not. Am I going crazy? It's definitely the year 2024, right? Token 2049? Okay, that's lightly ominous. So Shiba Inu is back in the news as well. Shiba Inu being the breakout star of the cryptocurrency space over the course of the last 3 years. How do I say this? This coin has completely surpassed Dogecoin in many different metrics. I don't really get how Dogecoin is still popular. That's not me being mean. It's just more of Dogecoin is never in the news. The most recent news I saw was, I think, from 5 or 6 days ago. Not joking. There was an article that I think Twitter just recently got a money transmitter license in Tennessee or something. I forgot which state it was. I want to say Tennessee. And the news article was like, this lends a hand to Dogecoin and we might use, and I was like, that's not really Dogecoin news. You speculating off of some piece of paperwork that the people from Twitter ended up getting. But Shiba Inu's back with a vengeance nearly every single day in the news, and they were not before, at least for like a year or so. There's a lot of Shiba Inu burn news and Shiba Inu this is happening, and there's all these other layers and stuff like that. One, Treat. I remember there being, so within the Shiba Inu ecosystem, I remember there's a leash coin. There's a bone coin. Wasn't there a dig? Was that also a thing, part of their ecosystem? And now there's a Treat. I know someone's shaking their head because I don't know the 19 coins associated with this chain. Also a Treat. So it looks like they raised $12 million through selling Treat. Okay. And now they're working on a layer 3 blockchain. So part of the problem is that we haven't really even gotten layer 2s correctly. So we had news a couple of months ago that apparently Vitalik Buterin is also talking about layer 3 solutions, and I remember sitting there being like, well, can you get layer 1 right first? That'd be that'd be grand if we had like 50,000 transactions per second on Ethereum. So then layer 2s are now like the main thing that people across multiple chains are using as like a scaling solution, not only for Ethereum, but for every other chain. If you've been paying attention, every chain is trying to have a layer 2 something solution and or side chains. So the idea of a layer 3, is the layer 3 just going to give private transactions? Is that what the point of it actually is? I don't know. No one's really a lot of the news that we get, if you pay attention, is like, someone's doing this. This is going to happen. No one really talks about what things are anymore. That was like a big thing in the news at least years ago, is we would get articles, Ethereum is having this upgrade. And then every article was like, this upgrade is going to do this and this and this and this and this. And about, oh, okay, I kind of get it. So you understand the significance of it. Is the point just to have private transactions, or the possibility of having private transactions on layer 3? Does layer 3 also interact with layer 1? Like if I'm doing normal transactions on Shiba Inu, are all transactions private, or do I have to move my coins to layer 3 and move the Shiba Inu coins into Treat? See what I mean? That like there's never any real clarification. It's just more like money. This happened. That's happening. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, what the fudge is going on? Shiba Inu's team closed a $12 million funding round. Yada, yada, yada. The funding round saw the team sell its utility and governance token Treat to non-US venture capital firms from Panama-based Shiba Inu Mint SA. Is this English? Okay, so apparently they are partnered, or they sold some to Animoca Brands, Mechanism Capital, Cypher Capital, Shima Capital, Big Brain Holdings Capital, Hercules Ventures Capital, Morningstar Ventures Capital. I'm adding in capital now. Woodstock Fund Capital, DWF. That sounds like, whoa, those letters are way too close to something else. Ventures, Polygon Ventures, State Capital, Illuminati. Wow. One of the companies is Illuminati Digital Capital. We are going to breeze over that one. Primal Capital and Spirit DAO. So, cool. Shiba Inu's back in the news. Listen. All of you out there from 2021, my expectations are sky high for this coin. For those of you who don't know, the narrative around Shiba Inu is each coin costing 1 cent. The amount of news we get about them burning these coins, the multiple layer 2 solutions, the now layer 3 solution, all this money they're raising, the metaverse, NFTs, smart contracts, and you name it. I listen. I hope this coin goes to 1 cent so we can have another video and talk about it, because you guys are doing a little bit too much. You guys are doing more than like actual big projects within the space. So listen, is the term talk the walk? No, walk the talk. Talking and walking. Do something with the chain and get it to 1 cent, because I'm very interested at this point, especially after all these years. That's the Shiba Inu, Litecoin, Polygon, and still bullish on Bitcoin news. There's been a bit of a slowdown on Ethereum news. For those of you who didn't see, apparently the word through the grapevine is that we might not be getting Ethereum ETFs. That should have been crystal clear even just a couple of months ago, because the SEC is full of very interesting people. So I've noticed a really weird shift. Like, remember 2 weeks ago? There were like 5 days in a row. Every single day was Ethereum news. Some person came forward very recently and was like, hey, we might not get them. Silence. Radio silence. It's very, very weird. That's the Bitcoin and I guess the altcoins that were in the news. And yeah. Let's move on. I thought we were done with this. I thought that this had happened. or I thought that there was no need to talk about it further. The news today is a ghost that is constantly haunting the cryptocurrency space. One of the earliest crypto exchanges, known as Magic the Gathering Online Exchange, had a number of hiccups. And I mean, like a lot, like 7,000 hiccups in a row. And the news that we received was that apparently a bunch of money was stolen, a bunch of Bitcoin specifically, was stolen from the website known as Mt. Gox. The issue is that at some point someone found it or found portions of it, and then people who owned these coins were like, hey, I would love my coins back. The problem is that this saga has gone on for over a decade, where people behind the scenes, we do not know who, have been trying to figure out ways to get these people their money back. One main issue is that back in the long ago when this happened, Bitcoin was not worth pennies, but it's, was not worth a lot. So there were a lot of people on that website who had like 8,000 Bitcoin, 17,000 Bitcoin. A lot of people had, hundreds and hundreds of coins. So the original proposal was to give people their money back, but in the US dollar equivalent, which was I'm glad everyone said no to that, because that was a gigantic scam. Some of these people literally had, and it was US dollars at the time of the hack. Right. So some of these people would have been sitting on $14 million, and they were like, well, at the time of the event, you had about $700, so we're going to give you, and they were like, absolutely the fudge not. The problem is that for some reason that we do not know, we have received news yearly, that this money was going to be given back to the people who it's owed to, and rightfully so. Unless Japan works on a completely different time frame, and I don't mean like a time zone. No. It should not take a decade to give people their money back. These people had to prove that they could sign into the website, that it was really their information, really their data, really their blah, 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 blah. Cool, these coins are yours. Why have I not gotten them back 7-8 years later? We had news last summer that people were getting their money back. And one of the main news stories back then was constantly trying to scare people, into believing that this was some kind of a negative event. The idea being, if these people get their money back, they're going to liquidate it. They're going to sell it. They're going to buy yachts and so, and all the Bitcoin will reflood back in the market. When I always say I get annoyed because a lot of the people who are writing these articles are clearly brand new, the news that we got since 2019, even 18, was that a lot of very wealthy people and crypto exchanges and maybe banks and institutions have known about this for a very long time and have actually been in contact with these people, the people who are owed the Bitcoin back. So that if these people want to sell their coins, the banks, the institutions, the BlackRocks, the crypto exchanges would buy the coins from them so that these coins don't basically hit the market. There's a huge market for people who want to buy OTC, over the counter, and this is who the coins would flow to. It's very similar to the news that we had a couple of weeks ago where you saw all the big banks were trying to buy Bitcoin directly from the people who are mining Bitcoin. They end up buying it instead. There's always events like this that are happening, but the reason you don't see a movement down in the price is because people who are rich basically know about these events. They want these coins especially for the older coins, especially for inscriptions, especially if these are older, more rare Satoshis. So I thought we were through this. I thought this had already happened, but apparently not. Several Mt. Gox creditors, people who are owed money, have immediately reported an update to their claims account. According to the subreddit about Mt. Gox, the manager has added specific repayment amounts and completion dates to its claims account. So these are going to be staggered as the money is given back. It's not going to be one fell swoop. All these Bitcoin hit the market. It's going to happen slow at a time. Those expecting repayments reported their claims accounts have actually been updated with information about Bitcoin and Bcash and fiat payments, with many speculating that cryptocurrency payouts will begin soon. So a lot of people have actually, for whatever reason, opted for fiat payouts, like in cash, like actual like money hitting my bank account kind of thing. The reason why Bcash is also there is because so basically anyone who was holding Bitcoin during the fork still basically has Bitcoin Cash somewhere. And since the person who was holding all their Bitcoin is in possession of their Bitcoin, he's also in possession of all other forked coins as well. And Bitcoin Cash also happens to be one of them. So these people will essentially be receiving BTC and also BCH as well if they choose to receive cryptocurrencies. Published screenshots indicate that the repayment status in fiat return request section is marked as completed. So it did happen. A lot of people have already, and even better is that while these people were receiving their money back, Bitcoin's price rose from $20,000 to $70,000. Several users said that fiat currency payments were received in their bank accounts. And here's a chart here. I don't understand it. I see cash completed, BTC incomplete, and there's dates and stuff like that. 18th of the 4th. 18th of April and 18th of April as well. I guess updated for the actual information there. One user noted that the fiat transfer arrived in their bank account more than a month after the fiat payment portion of the table was updated. The table was updated first on the 15th of March, then the 8th of April, then on the 18th of April when the Bitcoin lines appeared. So Mt. Gox, the creditor, apparently it's one guy. This is from what we've heard. There's one creditor, there's one guy, is expected to pay people back 142,000 Bitcoin and 143, not sure it's why it's more, 143,000 Bitcoin Cash. In addition, in addizione to the equivalent of 510 million US dollars by October of this year. $500 million just in cash. Mt. Gox clients have waited a decade to get their money back. The civil rehabilitation process started in June 2018, and in 2021, a Tokyo court approved the exchange's proposed plan. So, it looks like people are already getting some cash back. We will, you better believe it, be hearing more about this. I thought this was done. I thought this was done. I thought this was over. We will definitely be hearing more about these additional repayments as people get them. All I can say in the most honest way is watch out. People are going to try and sensationalize this as much as they possibly can, simply to move the market down. The people who are market makers, who are incredibly wealthy, who've been in this space, the same exact people who buy up all the coins whenever the US government did sell before in the past, they're also paying attention. So, yeah, people will try and scare you with this news. Just remember this video. It's all nonsense. People are going to get their money back, but they're also, if they plan on cashing out, they already are going to be selling to someone else, per the news that we got a number of years ago. This is, I mean, there are a lot of never-ending stories within the cryptocurrency space, and this is probably the craziest one. The other one that we had before this one was the FTX saga and drama that people are still people are still talking about Sam Bankman-Fried. I saw a news story that said apparently he's trying to find a way to actually get people their money back completely by basically ratting out a bunch of other people in the company. Now, riddle me this. This guy is trying to get people's money back, or so he says. He says he knows who did it, who done it, who got the money, who did so and so, and he can get it all back. You know that nearly every single website was talking about how he's a rat and he should shut his mouth? And I was like, oh, you actually don't care about people. You just want the story to be Sam Bankman-Fried miserable. It's not even a redemption arc. If somebody who did me wrong was still trying to get my money back, I mean, I wouldn't be their friend, but I also wouldn't be upset. I'd be okay, cool, got my money back. And it's just really the cryptocurrency space is a very fascinating one that needs to be studied because, logic. Yeah. I think that's going to do it for this video. A lot of weird stuff always happening in this space. I know I say that all the time, but understand that our market is not normal. I don't know if you've noticed that. Even when it comes to the news and stuff like that. Normal financial news is hey, there's going to be a merger between these two companies. Oh no, merger didn't happen because they found out that this company 13 years ago was actually selling petrol and they lied to their investors. Normal-esque news. The cryptocurrency space, the news that we get is completely unhinged. I mean, every single day. I'm not sure how we've lasted this long in this space because it's rough out here. Yeah, I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.